This is a very old picture of Obama from his much younger days, and college days. Pulling out a book here, and you notice in his left hand, on his in his wedding ring finger, he's got a ring on. This is before he was married. He's always been wearing this ring since I don't know, many decades, and it's just been brought to the attention of, well, it's been brought out by certain people what the inscription actually says. It says Allah is God, or Allah is the only God. Now, I don't have a problem with that at all, actually, to tell you the truth. But it's what I question is, why is this being brought out now? I mean, I don't think it's just a Republican thing. Um, there's been a lot of allegations about Obama being born in Kenya, which would disqualify him for being the president. But quite obvious to me is, well, I think he was definitely born in Kenya, but the way I'm looking at it is this way. How come it's being brought out or hidden? Whatever, it was all hidden when he was being elected. None of these things are being brought out hardly at all by the major media or anything like that. Now all of a sudden they're coming out. In other words, he's not their boy anymore, huh? Time for a change? Is this what's going on? I know Lindsey Williams said that the elite are pissed off by Obama, but I think maybe he pissed off the people that supported him. Maybe that's why he's being thrown to the wolves. But this is the problem with any president, anybody elect. There's always dirt on them, and they can pull the rug out from them at any time. If actually I thought very highly of Obama as a character, which I don't, not at all. I think he's kind of a punk. But if I thought of him very highly, and he was wearing a ring that said Allah is the only God, and in fact, it was proven that he was born in Kenya, I can give a damn if he's president or not. If I think he's doing a really good job, and he's a really good, upright, upstanding guy who's honest and will have the balls to stick up for the people, I'd still be behind him. But I don't know. I don't think he is. That's my point on the whole thing. But the other point of this whole thing is, how come all these facts are being brought out now about this ring and stuff? These guys all knew this crap. And it's like food for the conservatives, quote unquote. The ones that you know are totally against abortion, which I'm not saying I'm for it, but the ones that are totally against abortion, but at the same time, let's go to war. That type of stuff. In some cases, I think war is the right thing to do, but a lot of times I find a lot of these conservative guys are like some of the biggest warmongers going, which I'm not. I think it just applies in certain situations like Iran. So, the legacy of Obama basically might be about pulling us out of, he didn't do it. I mean, I was Bernanke, and I know it was all fake, but basically the fiscal stimulus is what pulled us out of the hole in 2008, 2009. And I know only people like to listen to this channel only give a damn about silver prices, but if you look at everything, if you look back, here's the silver price. The oil crashed in 2008, 2009, and when they start doing the fiscal stimulus, TARP, and all this kind of stuff, the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act, all that type of stuff came out. I think it was in October 2008. And QE came in later. It brought up it just shored up the markets. Even the real estate market kept it from sliding even further. And it was not just the commodities and silver, but it was profitability in the companies. It was the general stock market, general equities, and whatever. And everything was propped up. This time around, we know that's been said on September 12th, 2012, that Bernanke said, we're going to do quantitative easing or buy back mortgage-backed securities at a rate of $40 billion a month till the problem's fixed. Well, my point on this whole damn thing, it's going to be that we're basically going to see the metals take off like crazy, but the policies of the Federal Reserve aren't going to work. And what's interesting about this whole deal is there are people in this country that are totally flush with cash. It's actually the middle class that is not flush with cash, period. It's not the middle class. The middle class is basically just trying to hold on. So these economic policies coming forward, where there's going to be more and more stimulus, it's really going into the upper echelon. But at one point in time, there's going to be a dam that breaks, and you're going to see real asset prices go through the roof. And I know a lot of people listening to my channel worried about silver. That's where this silver is going to take off. That's where it's going to take off. It's going to play out. You know I heard a couple arguments that this stuff's going to go down to below 30 now, that we've seen a decrease Friday and all that. I don't think that's going to happen. Actually, what I think is going to happen is that Romney's going to win in November. Not that it's going to change anything, but it's going to actually bring up the markets in November. That's probably going to pump them up a lot. Wall Street's going to like that. So, but I do find it interesting. If you go look back even to Woodrow Wilson, the president during World War I, and the president that was elected during the, when they passed the Federal Reserve Act and the Income Tax Act and all the evil stuff that came about during that time period. And World War I occurred not that far after, and a few years later the United States got involved in it. He actually, every single guy that they put up there on the top has got stuff on him. They can pull the rug out from underneath him at any time. Obama's got a lot of dirt on him. I don't even want to get into all the details. He's got a ton of dirt on him. In case even President Woodrow Wilson, there was a thing where he had an affair with a woman in that was on campus. Like he was the former, he was a performer. I think he was a professor in Princeton. I think he was the head of Princeton or something like that. And that would be a really big taboo, at that time, when things are a lot more religious than it would be today. And they would have actually, they would have got him out. He would have never been able to be reelected. So basically, anytime we got a president, the damn guy's a puppet. I know a lot of people have accused Obama of being a puppet, but god damn it, Romney's going to be a puppet too. I wouldn't worry too much about this damn ring that he says Allah is God. Or, I'm not really like pro-Muslim, but I really don't care if somebody wears a ring that says Allah is God or Allah is the only God, as long as they don't try to make me wear one or something, and say I have to be thinking the way they do. That's the main problem I have with the Islamic religion, because some of them are like, either you're with us or you're dead meat, so they automatically become my enemy. But in the case of Obama, it's interesting that they're bringing this stuff out now, and it's not all politically motivated. It's like coming from other angles. They're trying to get this guy out. It seems like the top dogs in his country are considering him no longer the guy we want in there. So, it's almost like, I don't even like Obama. I think he's a weasel, he will not stick up for the American people. He's out for old number one. That's the way I look at him. But it's almost like, anybody that voted for Obama this time around, I wouldn't really blame him, because in a lot of ways, if this guy's the guy that's actually pissing off the elite, maybe that's not a bad thing to do, to go vote for him, right? But in my case, I'm going to be voting for Gary Johnson, because even though I know the guy's going to lose, if we had enough independent people in the United States that just said, the hell with the Republicans and the Democrats, and, went with the third party. I want to give you an example. Actually, when Ross Perot was running in office a long time ago, back there in the 90s, in San Diego, California, San Diego County, California, the number one winner was? Ross Perot. Like if the whole United States voted the same way San Diego County, California voted. In other words, those people said, we're not taking either one of those guys, the Republicans or the Democrats. We're voting for Ross Perot. He actually got the majority of votes in that county. Kind of tells you something. It can be done. It's like people think it's impossible, so that makes it, you're defeated before you even start. It's like, you got to climb a mountain or something garbage. You say, no, it's too high, I can't do that. And you just go back to sleep. That's usually the problem. Or you only get a few people behind it, and that's it. It doesn't send enough momentum. But interesting stories coming out. And I saw that stuff about, You know, Obama's ring. He's wearing this ring, and this is the same ring he's wearing today. It's not a wedding band. It's like before he was married. It's Allah is God. He means he believes Allah is the only God. Allah is great and all this kind of stuff. And it's supposed to make you think like he's a Muslim and that makes him a bad guy. You know, a lot of things I don't like about what they do over in these Muslim countries. But I automatically don't think because somebody's wearing a ring that says Allah is great or Allah is God that makes him a bad guy. It's like, and you know what? They knew this when he was elected. It's not a discovery. They knew this beforehand. They're supposed to make me all upset about this garbage. I'm not upset about it, not in the least. But he looks like he's on the way out. And Romney, the next weasel, is going to weigh in. And I'm sure there's plenty of dirt on Romney, so he's going to kiss their ass any which way he sees that it's going to keep his survival intact. And if he's got to flip 180 degrees, on issues every week, he'll do it. That's what he's been known for. Actually, Romney's been known for being a flip-flopper like crazy, even by his own Republican constituents, the people that are actually all around him. They used to say that about Bill Clinton. It's like the Republicans will bring that out about the Democrats. But then, you got a Romney, the Republican. He's the biggest flip-flopper in the world going. So he's a weasel, too. And that's the worst kind of leader to have. A guy that's got no backbone. If the guy's got some kind of conviction and he thinks, hey, this is right, this is what I stick up for, it's almost like if you figure the guy cares and he's like sticking up for what he thinks is right, and he gives a damn about the American people, you're more behind him. But, none of our leaders are like that. They're a bunch of garbage. I'm beginning to think the only way to have a good presidential leader is that they have to have at least 10 years of military service with combat. Because, I think that's going to have to be the future requirement for a president. Because, if you almost get... But then again, you might have somebody like Kerry with his 4 Purple Hearts for freaking, freaking tripping on the way to the toilet. So I guess there's always a way around it. So, but in anyway, I don't know. People got to think. They got to probably think like the people, the residents in San Diego, California, San Diego County, California, and just pick other. This guy's a bunch of garbage, and Romney's a bunch of garbage. So the election's coming up. Let's get rid of all those stupid incumbents. And, this ring, I don't think this means anything. And you know what? They knew all about it before the guy was elected. So now they're bringing it out. It's not even just a Republican thing. It's like Obama seems like he pissed off a lot of the guys that are really powerful in the background. So they're bringing out as much garbage as they possibly can on him to get him out of office. Which is fine because he's not a good guy either. So whatever.